All right, gonna open the planning board meeting of 7/29/14. I'm Jim Freer,
Bob O'Hanley.
Bob O'Hanley, Bob Arakalian. We only have 3 tonight, so. What we have up is Wicker Lane, correct?
That's already taken care of.
It is,
Yep.
period. No, I mean, not Wicker Lane, I mean,
Crabtree Drive.
yeah, Crouch.
Right, the hearing for Crabtree is quarter on, which is right now. 34, 7 Star.
Oh, the 30. Yeah.
34,
What's that?
34 7-star.
Well, my address is 1 Crabtree Drive.
Crabtree.
Yeah.
Are the definitive plans now at every office in town hall?
What was that?
Are the definitive plans for Crabchuck Drive in like every department they need to be in?
No, why would they be?
So we can see.
They're in the town clerks, they've been in the town clerks since we posted.
Okay. Well, the definitive plan wasn't in before the last meeting, that's why I haven't seen the definitive plan.
That's the policy, and she has a set, she has had a set.
So, just to, for the record, Jim Hanley with Civil Design Consultants. I want to give you some of the paperwork here. These are the return receipts for the notification to the butters, and then the 2 copies that were posted, the final 2 copies that were posted in the Piermont. Also have some handouts there, but that shows you who, what we notified and when we notified. Just to recap, I guess, we've come in, gone through the conceptual process. I think we were here actually twice showing you some options for the subdivision under conceptual review. I think that went all the way back to like 2010. We were in front of you with a preliminary subdivision. That preliminary subdivision went under review by you guys, obviously, as well as the consulting engineer who looked at it, did a formal review of everything from engineering to what's required from the town's bylaw. We worked through the comments that we received from the consultant and got the preliminary approval. I think that was February or January of this year, and filed the definitive. And again, Camet did another review of that, and you guys, I think this is probably our 2nd or 3rd meeting in front of you for the definitive. I think we've addressed all the comments that we've received from you as well as from the consultant. I think everything is buttoned up right now. And if there's any other questions, we'd love to.
Right, I got a suggestion, why don't you open your plan up
Sure.
here, and if anyone from the audience wants
Sure.
to ask any questions.
Did
we'll
we
get
open
it.
it again?
Yes.
Yeah,
I think we've got one.
well, yeah, we opened the hearing for Crabchuck, 1 Crabchuck Drive.
You want to read the legal notice?
The whole thing.
No, it's just short.
Why don't you read it then?
It's right there up on the right-hand side, a little short.
Town of Groveland Planning Board. The Groveland Planning Board will hold a public hearing at 7:45 PM on Tuesday, July 29, 2014 at Town Hall to consider definitive subdivision plan for Crabchuck Drive dated June 10, 2014, located at 7 Star Road in Groveland, Mass. A copy will be on file at the town clerk's office. Walter Sorensen, Chairman and Clerk. And it was advertised on 7/15. 7/15, what's the other tear sheet?
You're from the engineer, right?
Yeah.
Chris, I'm the
Chris,
butter.
yeah.
And this is Ross, he's in the butter, right?
Hey, Ross. How are you?
Where's the proposed well and the proposed septic?
So the proposed well and septic, we don't have, I don't have septic plans done yet.
Right,
So-
but it should be like an area, isn't there an area like?
Yeah, exactly. So that much,
Where's the driveway? Section 416. And the slope and the grade.
Okay, let's go with the first one.
right, so we have, we've done 2 sets of septic testing that
Yeah.
are on site to address how the subdivisions evolve.
Yeah.
And so we had lots kind of shaped up differently. We did some testing, we got them to pass, came back, we had to modify them, and these are the two areas. 1, 2, 3, 4 different areas. We also have
What up?
an area up here for our detention. Right,
So where would be the proposed driveway?
Sure.
so.
Because they should be on the plan.
Yeah.
Great detail.
Great we have the driveway aprons that are along the road.
No,
We're
we
in
have
a-
a slope.
Jody,
We're not showing the actual lot development, that lot development we're gonna show when we prepare our septic plans.
And that's,
It's supposed to show the maximum grade, it's supposed to show the leveling, there's a lot that's missing that we were required to do, that seems arbitrary.
yeah, we built the same.
And it was all under the guise of emergency vehicles, and that's why the driveway needed to be shown.
Are you talking about the leveling as the driveway comes out to the street south and south?
No,
Is that the
No,
leveling?
we're talking,
No,
but
we're talking
we're not there
about
yet,
the
we're talking
driveway.
about the driveway to his structures. They need to be on the plans.
We can show you ours.
Well, I guess what I can say, is that, it has been under review, and it has gone to
Well, it's-
Woody Kamen, who's the consultant. who's
And I can
reviewed it
show you,
for-
it's very arbitrary, the reviews you're getting from Cameron versus.
Well, I don't know
And
that.
that's nothing
I
to
know
do with you.
And
Right,
no,
exactly,
no, but we
exactly.
will have to appeal because it's just arbitrary. It
See,
just seems-
we built the exact same thing Carl's doing. 3-lot subdivision, existing home, 2 homes,
Same
same
hill,
exact road, your road's
less
actually
traveled.
bigger. So we're just looking at the road we put in, or the process we went through, and the process you're going through, and there's just some missing pieces here. The driveway is not on here.
The 15-foot road, we asked for a 16-foot road, and it's denied according to Cameron Engineering because of the fire department. Yet, we wanted a 16-foot, yet you got a waiver for a 15-foot.
Well,
And the
we-
whole reason was because of the emergency vehicles, you not being able to go by each other.
We have a
So which is it?
We have a 50-foot wide road, and we have 5-foot gravel shoulders on each side, right?
Mhm.
So it's 25 feet
Yeah,
of
and we
level
have grass.
structural
Yeah,
area.
Understood.
So,
it's just arbitrary, very arbitrary.
yeah, I really don't wanna speak to your.
No, I get you, not putting you on trial,
Yeah.
just kinda asking the
Yeah.
planning board. I wish Wally would be here, because I know he's always quick to be able to have this information in his head, but it just doesn't,
I mean, we can go down each waiver that you requested and how there's absolutely no comments, and we can go down each waiver that we requested in the comments.
Every subdivision or
Well, some of the waivers are exactly the same.
every site's different.
Sure,
It's
Bob,
the same
but Bob,
hill.
it's the same hill,
On
the
the
same
left side of the
scope,
road.
the same hill, the same
It's a private
scope.
drive
that's,
since
that hill
1990.
Yeah,
was not.
1990.
Oh,
Again,
yeah.
I'm not
Old Farm Road
debating
is
that.
150 years.
It's not the slope that you had whatsoever at all.
Oh, yes, it was, I can tell you all Cameron's.
We got it right here.
It's
I
all
mean,
about the
do you
runoff, it's
know
about
our
the
plan
surface
off the back of
water.
your head?
I know, I went up there the other day and looked straight up the hill.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
Okay.
because you made us do that, are you gonna do that for them, are you gonna make
No,
them
I
require
was
the
up there
driveways?
looking at something else, so I stopped right in front of it and looked straight up.
Right, and that's
This
their
isn't
hill too.
straight up,
Okay.
it's fairly.
So-
And it's a
Excuse me,
very traveled
What
road.
is this? You want, because you had to do something?
No, we
You
want-
want him to do the
No,
same thing?
Absolutely.
That you
Exactly.
did?
Absolutely.
Even though they're two different,
They're
No,
not
it's
too
safety.
different.
Yeah,
It's the
yeah.
same
You don't
hill,
project,
it's the
I know,
same.
one
It's
meeting,
totally
they didn't
different.
do anything.
I'm
Why
not
doesn't-
objecting, I'm not,
This
what's
is-
objecting?
we just want what- yeah,
I'm
you
not objecting
want
to his
what's
project, I
safe
want you
and
to be able
Yeah,
to do your
probably.
thing. My issue is with
Exactly,
the
this
fact
isn't
that it's
that.
very
This isn't
arbitrary that
that
the
right.
planning board can say, hey,
They
you know what?
do, they just.
so it is,
It's very arbitrary, right.
It's what
Sorry,
they
I
did
never
for
went
you.
to a
Right.
meeting.
You want him to go
Exactly.
through the same thing
Exactly.
you went through, even though they're two different sites.
Well,
I got
It's
it.
the
It's
same
not two
hill,
different
it's
sites.
the same sort of project,
Project.
and it's the same site, and it's the same
To me,
site.
it's very petty. If you would come
Are
in
you
here
kidding me?
and
Do you know how much
interfere in what
hundreds
we're
of
doing.
thousands of dollars we had to spend?
And not only
It's
that,
not
They
petty.
didn't want us to pay that,
Project.
Because they made us do requirements that they're not making them do, how is that fair?
Because it's different, you said, right?
How is it different,
Every
Bob?
site
It's
is
It's different.
It's the
different.
same.
Right, exactly.
Well, let me explain something to you, stop your bickering, please. If
Why do you
I,
keep it?
if I see when we start excavating, are you listening?
Yeah, I'm listening.
When I see, as I'm inspecting out there, if I see the same thing on his roadway going in that I saw on yours, he'll be made to put fabric down and stone down.
Okay.
Why aren't they required to do 416? on their plans.
of your subdivision plans that you guys wrote. And what Wally would say all the time, Chris, we gotta do this by the book, so no one comes back later and said, we gave you favors that were given other people.
Everything was looked at by Mr. Cammett Engineering.
Well,
He
you're giving
went
us
by
great-
all the rules and regs in the subdivision rules and regulation book. We have his reports, and we made him go back and revise his, how many times were your plans revised?
For 5 years. This is not.
I can
He
totally
has
empathize.
been
Ours went through
he has
multiple
been
years as well,
put
too.
through the same diligence that we put you through. What you had on your side of the hill is different than what he's got on his side of the hill. If I
Yeah, it's a
see
busy
things
road.
of water pumping like I did on yours, he'll have to address it.
So let me ask you
So
this,
this
you think
means
the,
nothing,
you
and we
think
don't
the
have any-
topography, the soil is different, like, on his side of the road than it is on ours?
I've been digging holes for 60 years, and the soil is different everywhere. When the glacier went through, it deposited different types of soil all through the land. Nothing is
Again,
totally
okay, so
exact.
let's just go back to a couple things. Why wouldn't the driveways be on the plan?
I think there are,
I mean, that's.
416.
I'm trying to get, you know, I'm getting this
Yeah.
as we're going through, and I'm just kind of going through here. There's specific content requirements in the subdivision regs.
Right. Go to 416.
The 416 is specific to driveway regulations in the
Yeah.
town of Grove. So doesn't necessarily have to be on a subdivision plan. If you build a driveway,
They're
it has to
required.
conform with those
Correct.
regulations.
Correct.
So this review here is relative to the roadway and the subdivision specific to the piece of property, not the individual lots, right?
Yeah.
So when we go in, Carl pays me to put the septic system plan together, that septic system plan is gonna have to show, among other things, the septic system as well as the driveway.
Sure.
The driveway's gonna have to conform. But if I'm listening to what you're saying, and I'm kinda going through the regs here.
And as an abutter, it's
I
nice
don't-
to know where the
I don't
driveway's
see
gonna come
that,
up.
right, I don't
You know what
see
I'm saying?
that as a content requirement on the definitive subdivision,
And we
content
understand that,
requirements.
but with the hill, they were very concerned with the runoff on the driveways. And we just don't understand why you're not concerned with the runoff of their driveways.
That's a fair point.
runoff has been addressed here with berms.
No, from the driveways.
Driveways, you can't address it without the driveways being on the plan.
Well, I think, we have a hill that kind of slopes, it's all sloping down toward Seven Star Road.
Right.
And we plateau up by where our cul-de-sac head is. We're running a berm parallel with Seven Star Road in our, I guess it's our southerly boundary line to capture any flow over land that will come off of either of the developed lots. So regardless of where I put that driveway there, this berm and this system has been designed to accept that flow. So I don't know if it's necessarily the case that the location of the driveway is going to make any kind of change to the drainage. Because we've kind of considered that and kind of designed it. And I think that's probably something that Woody looked at and said, hey,
Yeah.
regardless of where he puts this system here is at the low point, it's the convenient point. It's gonna catch the head of the cul-de-sac as well as anything developed off of the lots.
He's capturing most of it up around the cul-de-sac, long before it gets down the road. But he's also putting in things that if it does get going down the road, it's gonna pick it up there as well, so it doesn't hit the road, which all the lots on Seven Star Road for water out there left and right now.
Well, yeah, no, that's a concern, I mean, we all got
That
kids
was
who
good,
ride
that
bikes
was,
and drive by
I
there.
think what you have to understand is that
We
within the
know.
last 5 years
We
that
know,
we've
Jim.
been talking to him, he's changed his plan many times because of that situation. That was the number 1 concern.
So, wouldn't
This
there be-
started out, I believe, what was it, a 5-home
It was
subdivision?
six, yeah, so we originally
Yeah.
came in with a 6-lot
It's
subdivision.
just, it kept getting cut down.
I just don't understand why Camp
So-
Engineering would request us to put the driveways on, but not you.
That does seem arbitrary, doesn't it? I mean, be honest, doesn't that seem arbitrary?
It seems arbitrary. From the conceptual, preliminary, and definitive, Camp Engineers requested it, and not once requested it from you. As a matter of fact, it says will be done during building on your plan. on the fly. How is that fair?
Because the problem with yours was they were spilling out on the downhill at that point. With this, they're gonna be leveled out and within
They're
that
20
plot of
feet.
land that the
But
house
time out,
was sitting on.
you've also given them a waiver instead of going 75 in straight on an
We did.
extremely busy street, probably the fourth busiest street in town, to 25 feet. And it's coming out on a hill as well too.
So I
I mean,
just,
where's the safety issue in that? And even, I read Cameron's notes, he basically talked about, I'll defer to the planning board because there's been no traffic or highway study done. Who's done the highway study? My kids ride bikes there every day. Every day.
Seven Star Road
That's
isn't.
not
Oh,
that well
okay, yeah.
traveled.
Are you
I
kidding?
can tell you, no. No
Okay,
way.
I haven't lived
I live
there.
off of it.
Listen.
Trust me, I live off of it.
I have lived there for 45, 50 years.
Doesn't your son-in-law call it Seven Star Speedway when
Yes,
we were talking
yeah,
outside on the other
He's
day?
absolutely right.
All
You know what
right.
it is? The people coming from Wood Street.
Oh,
The people
It's the
coming
townhouse
from
on Wood
West
Street.
Newbury going down
That's
295.
Oh,
The
okay.
people from that other new development down the.
That's not arbitrary though, is it?
way.
That's not arbitrary,
So I
is it?
continue, or do you get the message?
Please do, please
Yeah,
do,
yeah.
please do.
Please, I've seen enough of traffic. Two houses isn't gonna make that much of difference.
I
Well,
don't
no,
disagree,
right,
I'm not,
it's
I don't care about the two homes, I want them to build these two homes. All I'm saying is we're talking runoff and that approach coming out
I
there.
will be the first one to complain if there's runoff, and he knows it.
but when it freezes and then it gets all wet and.
There hasn't
There's
been
other
any
houses.
problems since I've been there, I don't know what you guys are complaining about.
Oh, that's
You-
what,
of
that
course
does.
you do.
But there's other
What?
parts of Seven Star Road that have runoff. I go
You know
down
it's
Seven
getting
Star
rain
Road
something.
from my
You know
house
it's a good
every
one.
morning and every
I
night.
know it's a what?
And I,
Come on.
It's just so arbitrary, it's ridiculous.
And I
I've
know
been
where-
doing this since 1990. I started out, it's a
Great.
private road, and I've been doing this, and originally, they knew I was building other houses out there.
Explain.
I
to
have a
them why
roadway
we
that
hire
has been there.
consultants to do drainage.
It's gonna be a private drive, the same as yours.
You're gonna maintain it, right? You're gonna plow it, whole 9 yards, right?
So I've had the fire department up there, and they've gone up and
Yeah,
they've
that's
allowed
fine.
us to
But
do
that's what
it.
I'm
That
saying,
was
again, the
considered
fire
a
department,
private
per
road.
the fire department, they want 16-foot road.
18.
18 feet road.
So they're getting
okay.
25, or
But no,
24.
paved,
No,
paved, you're getting only
And
15.
they're giving us the waiver on that because
But they
we're
didn't
doing
give
the
us,
road.
they denied it.
That's the same
Why?
thing.
Well, because, to tell you
Because
the
it's
truth,
arbitrary.
I just looked at your
Right,
driveway too,
wait,
it's
wait a
little
second,
different.
wait a second. Your roadway in has a huge bank in that you had to build a retainer wall on the left-hand
Because you didn't
side
want the-
as you
Because you
came
didn't
in.
want
Go
the
into
trees.
The
neighbor's
fire department
Bob, you got
yards.
selective memory.
is okay with gravel
Select.
shoulders. Every site is different.
Right.
Now, do you have any other questions on the plan itself?
We just-
And
we could go
there's
back
an
later
appeal
if you want.
period after we, if we
Yeah,
approve it or not,
sure.
you can appeal it and go to your heart's content on it.
Beautiful.
Because we, at that time, we can get Mr. Cammett, our consultant, who was paid to go through the plans, which he did diligently.
We're well aware of that he's paid to
So-
go through, because as myself
you
and
have
Carl,
any other
they're paying the
questions
bill
on
on
the
it. You
plan?
gotta pay him to review it, we get it.
No, my big
So-
things were why, for example, the wells, for us, you know, it says right here, let's see, definitive plan, you have to have the well, and if not, you have to put the proposed well on the plan, it has to be 50 feet from an abutter's property. But Cameron didn't do that on this one, why? Why is the difference? Why are there being so many
I
differences?
think part of it is, there's no way I can be within 50 feet of your property, I'm gonna be way far away from that, I'm 200 feet probably from each house. So where am I gonna get 50 foot to your property, you line? That's about the closest I can get.
If you chose. to
Let
put the
me
well close to your
explain
property.
something about the wells. As you know, I am on the Board of Health for 7 years. In order for them to put a well in, he has to stake the ground with the appropriate setbacks. Our health agent has to go up and approve it and everything at that time, when the well is, a license is taken out for a well to be put in. Pat Skeena cannot issue a building permit for a foundation or anything until the well is in.
Oh, we understand.
We wanna know why it doesn't have to be on their plans, but it had to be on ours. That's what we want.
Just answer the question, that's all we're asking
It's
for.
not on the, it doesn't go on the plan till you.
Well,
do
they made it put it on
something.
SR from Cameron Engineering. We request that you put it on.
It's
But
just-
you don't
it's a-
need the well on the property
Well,
till
then
you
why
got
did
the
they
septic
request- why
system.
did
I
Kim-
have
I
a
was on the Board of
cul-de-sac, you
Health.
didn't have a cul-de-sac, I don't know, I see a little different than what you guys.
Well, no, our
Cul-de-sac?
we had a cul-de-sac, we just, ours goes more in a Y. We had the round circle, we said, hey, let's do it in a Y here, it seems to make
We
more
just
sense.
don't
The
understand
police,
why
the
it's
fire
different.
department
This
liked
is
it.
not
Carl,
deal
at the
today.
time you were proposing the plan, you were still up in the air on whether or not you were gonna run town water up the street into your project. You were still negotiating, weren't you?
Well, I have town water at my existing house that I'm in now. They do not want me to tap into the water.
Because of the size
Because
of
of
the
the
main.
condition
Yes,
of the
yes.
existing.
So that's why I'm on the well.
Plus you'd have to pump it up, right? I mean, you probably have to pump it.
water up?
Yeah, no? The second house, how would water get to the second house up there if it wasn't, oh?
I mean, they wanted us to put in a 25,000 gallon water tank. This is the absurdity that they made us go through, that they're not making you go through, it's just
Completely
arbitrary. It
arbitrary.
has
You know,
nothing to do
I,
with you,
Who's
it has
they?
to do with
You!
you.
A 25,000
That
gallon
was,
what?
that was put
And
on
you
our
let us
thing.
waive it.
We had to get a
Water
waiver
Yes.
for that.
You wanted us to put a
You're worried
water
about
tank
fire
on top
equipment
of the
getting
hill.
out there, but we don't care about fire equipment on other people's property,
And you
just on the
wanted
one we
us
were
to
building.
put cutoffs on the driveway going up so that an emergency vehicle could pull off just in case to get to the top of the hill.
That's the hammerhead for the vehicles to turn around and pull
Yes.
over to the side.
Yes.
That's what the fire
On
department.
the driveway, not on the road. They don't even have to have their driveway on the plan.
I think that, you know, I hear what they're saying, that they didn't have a good process, and we can say we didn't have a good process, but we come this far, kind of thing. I think the plan has to stand on its own merits for this particular piece of property, for the 4 years that we put into coming to you in concept form twice, in preliminary form once, going through an entire preliminary review, getting sign off from the fire department, getting sign off from Woody, and everybody else that we had to go through. I think our plan has to kind of stand on its own, and
They all stand on.
they all stand on their own, right? I don't know anything about theirs.
Yeah, yeah, as you should.
You know what I mean? Right, exactly. But it's kind of
It's not even
difficult to
about
say,
that. It's-
right, how
it's
come
about
we
that.
don't have to do it? I think we've done everything that we've been asked to do. And again, if the board has any other specific questions,
I've been on and off the planning board since 1968. And it was around 1967 that the planning board adopted the very first rules and regulations for subdivisions. It didn't have any prior to that. And I've seen just about anything and everything since then that we've done, and things are a hell of a lot better in this town because of what we've been doing. And getting the engineers that we have, probably since the 80s, because we didn't have engineers until then. It's right on the mark with all these things. We've had some very serious problems with certain subdivisions where we've allowed them to do 2 houses on a private road, 3 houses on a private road. We're no longer gonna be doing that, because we've seen what the people that inhabit those houses get into. They end up suing each other over fixing a road. So, you know, we know these things can get to be a real problem. This thing is the second longest running subdivision. It's over 5 years. Actually, when he really started this thing, it's probably the first longest running, because it's probably a decade. But I can tell you right now, it's, and I think as he went along, he began to realize that land just couldn't take anything. Had he been able to get water up in there, sewer up in there, it might have been a whole different thing. But, you know, the way that land is, and that entire hill, when you start at 7 Star Road, and you literally work your way all the way over to the West Newbury line. I've never seen something, a hill that holds water like that hill holds water.
That's because the whole, that side of town's
It
play.
just comes out of there everywhere. It's almost like don't poke your finger on it. But, you know, it's, everywhere we've gone in this town, we've seen different things. And now, where we're building, we're either building uphill or downhill. We don't
Around
have
the
any
hill?
meadows left. I think Bobby was the last meadow. So it's getting more and more difficult. The engineering on these things is getting more and more difficult. And the yield on these things, we just signed, a plan that is 2 lots. One was 4 acres, one was 6 acres. Because they couldn't do anything with it because it was uphill.
Right.
One house on each one of those.
The point we're just
That's
trying
where
to
we're
make.
headed.
We
in
But
this
the
town.
point we're trying to make it, it's not about Carl, it's not about his project, one thing gotta build his own for his project.
Not fair.
It just needs to be fair. Your
Consistent.
bylaws and consistent, that's really what it is. And all I'm hearing back here from anyone on the board is, oh, everything is different. Well, you know what, we've got reams of paper here to show you the waivers we requested that we didn't get, and now he's getting them. It's on a busier road, it's on an incline, there's been no traffic study done on it. That's what we're asking here.
I can tell you right now, every time we do a traffic study, the thing comes out, it's, if you wanted a job to do that you can prove every time, there's no problem when you do a traffic study. We've seen it so many times. We've seen it on 97, we've seen it on 113. We've seen it on every street in this town. It comes out, the little bit of an increase to that road is next to nothing. That's all they prove. And it's, when you get into those things, they're like a waste of time, I can
I
tell you.
would've loved it if you said to me during our project, you know what, Chris, this part's a waste of time, let's skip it and go forward. I might have probably hit the market 6 to 8 months earlier and probably, sold that house sooner, probably not carried it as long. But there were not a whole lot of those things sent to the Old Farm Road project. There just wasn't. And again, it's really, we're taking a look at something very capricious and very arbitrary.
And it gives us legal action.
Just to be 100% upfront.
You know, when I went up there the other day and I looked up that road, straight as an arrow going up there.
That's the
With
driveway.
a slight bend.
That's the driveway.
It's a driveway.
And
That's not
quite
the road. You know where the
frankly-
road ends and where the road begins?
Mhm.
Okay, the driveway. is
When
you
I
look the
looked at
driveway.
that, I'm saying to myself, it's only a matter of time before that becomes a problem.
That's
How
the
so?
driveway.
You didn't tack it,
Okay.
okay?
What does
And
that
we
have-
told you to
Okay,
do
that's
that.
great, but that's not answering our question.
Yeah, exactly. You
Why
keep
are you-
diverting
Well,
it.
what I'm getting to is, we really don't wanna get into those anymore, we really don't.
But you're in it.
You're in it now.
No, we
And it's
are.
You're in it now.
arbitrary.
No, and we're not gonna do them anymore, because of what we had one where the lawsuits got to the point where the money they spent on the lawyers would fix the road.
But we don't wanna appeal the project, we
Okay.
wanna appeal you,
Yeah.
let's be clear.
Well,
Yeah.
if you wanna do that, I can't
Well,
stop
this
it.
is what
from
it seems
doing
like to me when I came in the middle of this. To me, as I walked in, it was a clear case of, well, I did it, damn it, you gotta do it.
No, it's unfair and it's
yeah.
arbitrary.
Yeah.
Right.
It's nothing to do with you, we wish you all the best.
You-
Then
We
why are
just-
you here?
Because if we don't say it in public, how are we gonna have a case?
So this is your private case with them?
No, we're trying to prove in writing, on film, that what they made us do was not what they're making you do.
It's like I said.
We made him do a lot of things we didn't have you do,
I don't think so.
okay? Because they're entirely different, and that's what we keep trying to tell you.
Oh,
They are
really?
entirely
We keep trying to tell
different.
you, we're on the same hill. We're on the same hill. He's on the back side of it. I can walk back through my property where it butts with Carl's and it starts going down. No different than it does when I start going down my driveway. Okay? It's arbitrary, it's capricious. And we didn't just come here just to try and muck things up here, but it is. And the people we've had look at it, our outside engineers, our outside lawyers, are fully in our camp on this.
We did the same thing to a small subdivision that still hasn't been built yet. It's in South Groveland. Doesn't have quite the incline whatsoever at all that yours has. But because there's a hill right beside it, they had to do quite a bit of work.
Okay, let's forget the incline.
Okay.
What about the emergency vehicles that Camet addresses many times with conceptual, preliminary, and definitive plans for us? Why isn't emergency vehicles ever mentioned in there?
That's all been addressed. We've already gone through this.
Not in the
before.
driveways? They
It's-
wanted
it
they wanted
has
to
a
be on the driveways.
cul-de-sac. They
I
can
mean,
get
it's
in
just
and
not
around
fair.
that
You
cul-de-sac.
gotta get to the home. You realize that. The home's on fire. You don't put it out at the cul-de-sac.
And they
You've
can
gotta
get
the
to
home.
it from there.
They don't know where the home's going.
They're
How
not-
can
They have
tell?
certain-
It's not even clearly laid out
The
there.
circles are on there where the homes are.
The circle's always a 100-foot circle?
Yeah, whatever the circle is, I
Right.
don't know what it is, but that's where the homes are going. I mean, it's not, it's, I don't know, I mean.
And again, you're in the definitive plan, speaking as an abutter, Russell, I don't wanna put words in your mouth, but I'm sure he'd like to have a strong feeling as well as I would like to know, where exactly is the
Yeah, I'd
home
like to
zone?
know where the house is.
Within that circle, it's
Yeah.
on there. And it's, did you look at it? Where
Yeah, I
your
did,
property
I
line
did,
is?
yeah, I
It's,
did.
it's down the hill, it's quite a distance from both the houses, and it's not near the top of the hill. For that reason, to get away from you guys, so you'd have more room, and we'd have more room. You know, there's a lot of land up there, and instead of crowding and putting it up, the best place would be closer to put it up the top of the hill. That's the best place to put the house, but we, out of consideration between my wife and I and my kids, we thought that we'd be better off to give everybody more space. We don't wanna crowd in like a little cluster
Yeah, I got you,
building, you know?
gotcha.
And, so, where the circle is on that house there is, I don't know how many feet it is off the boundaries, but it's down the hill from your house that you just purchased, and it's really not even near your house.
Yeah?
I mean, and the more I look at it, the more I realize that I'm probably only increasing everybody's view up there. I mean, the more I look at it, I say, wow.
Again,
I kinda like the woods.
Carl,
Yeah,
I got
well, I
you.
do too. I like to go up there with my tractor when people are shooting too. It's
Carl,
like, hey, whatever.
I got no issue with your development per se, I really don't, I mean, do your thing.
But do
your
you
thing.
understand?
Do you understand what we're saying here? We've got a bunch of people
It
just
must be
sitting
a
here,
law point of view?
just sitting here,
I
just
just
kinda
don't
saying,
think
yeah,
it's
it's
the
different.
appropriate time for me to bring it up, because what you're doing is may have.
Well, time out, how about, we had meetings
But if we
every
don't
single way,
state
private,
it,
preliminary, conceptual, and
require it.
definitive.
But then there's
Posted
no
meetings in the
legal-
paper so the neighbors can come
so
and
then
get
there's
this
no
out in the
legal way to
beginning
say
of the
it.
process,
We just need
not at the
nothing-
end.
Nothing to do with you.
This thing wasn't even posted, the reason the meeting didn't happen last time, because we brought it to their, it's not even been in the paper.
All
All
meetings have
meetings are
been posted.
posted. We have a
Posted
TV
2 times
channel,
already.
they're recorded.
I understand that, I understand.
Been posted 2 times, and it's been in the paper 4 times, at least.
I mean,
And then we had to
So it
cancel
was
the
a
last
snafu
meeting because
last
we had a
time,
problem.
right?
As we went along with this thing, for many, many years, you will find, if you go out in that hallway, you'll find all our meetings. There's a board out there by date, where
We
each
just
one
got
of
the
those
one
meetings
first
is
letter,
posted.
no.
They're also scanning them in, and they're on the TV channel as well.
And we know they
And
were
what's
getting
happening
letters
on
that
every
was
meeting
sent
now.
Been downtown.
So if it's not.
When I went
Well,
down-
now you just said, you never came.
No, we've been never notified, they were getting the abutters list a couple weeks ago, so we were never
But in the
notified.
beginning, that went out as well.
Not to us. Not
What
to
do you mean by the
abutters.
beginning, like 5-6 years ago?
Yes.
No.
And this thing's been ongoing.
Why
And
did
it's
they
up
just
to you
request the
to
abutters
stay
list?
in tune with it
Why
at
did
that
they just
point.
request the abutters list within the last month?
The only time that we
Let him answer
have
the
to,
question, let him answer
No,
your question.
yeah, answer the question, why did they just
For the
request?
definitive plan,
So you only need to notify us for the definitive plan?
yeah.
So,
Because that's the hearing for the final definitive
Right.
plan. But initially, I believe something went out saying that, we were gonna be looking at this thing right along, and it kept
it
going
went
out.
out where? What do you mean it
it was
went out?
posted on the bulletin
Posted on the
board.
bulletin board
It
out
was
there.
also on the Groveland.
I mean,
TV.
it's been on TV. It's not that, this thing is just happened tonight. This has been going on for years.
Understand.
Do what you
Okay.
have to do. We
Where
just-
you
we got-
been?
We said our piece.
Yeah, go ahead. You do
Where
your thing.
have you
I just want
been?
You guys need to understand, you're opening yourself up. You wanna go ahead and approve it? Go for it. You're opening yourself up, and that's fine. We've said what we wanna say,
It's-
so you can go forward.
It's met the engineer's,
Okay.
stuff that he wanted,
I see the,
okay? That's all I can tell you. I mean,
And all
we
we
hire,
can say
the
is
town
department.
hires, it's independent engineers. And he did the review. And you had the ability to walk in and watch that review every time one came in. But you show up at the last minute.
That's That's when we got the letter in the mail.
We got the letter in the mail. I'm sorry if I'm not cruising the hallways of town hall, look at the bulletin board, watching riveting Groveland TV. I'm sorry, I'm
You
also.
seem to have a pile of paper you point at every little thing, so
Because
your
we went
knowledge-
through this
your
process
knowledge-
too.
Your
We went
knowledge
through
is
this and
there
listened
about
to
what's
you for
going on
3-4
here.
years.
No, and we got the letter, and then we saw what their waivers were, and what they were being granted. We went into our files to see what our waivers were, and we were horrified,
And you have all the same paperwork at your disposal.
horrified at the difference that
But
Cameron
where were you
Engineering
in this
and the
process is
planning
my,
board
my question.
have made different.
Where were
Not
you in this
Project Run,
process?
not his
Okay.
engineer.
In this
Oh.
process, we
Mhm.
were notified that this was, I mean, I heard nothing of this thing until my neighbor told me. I was like, wow, so I went down, see, the meeting was supposed to take place, when was it? I don't know, last time it was supposed to take place, there was no definitive plans even
You,
at the
you
assessor's
could not
office.
see what he was doing inside that piece of land is whatsoever at all.
Carl, when you're standing on your lot,
I've
can
been
you
up
see,
to your
can you
house
see me?
before.
Can you see me from where your house is?
I've seen many people up there.
Can
I
you-
don't
can
know
you
who they
see-
are, cause they come and they're like ghosts, they disappear.
Can you
It's
see
like,
me from
wow.
your property? No, you can't. I don't know if the noise is coming from him or if it's coming from Nichols Village, or whatever, so, I think it's irrelevant about what stage of the game we're at, the questions, we had some questions, and we're asking you, and really,
You
there's
haven't
been,
answered.
you haven't answered.
We,
The arbitrary and
if we
capricious
post all
nature
the
of your
meetings and we post
request.
what's going on at all the meetings, and you don't show up, what are we supposed to do? Come and get you?
That's
A
what you
lot
made
of
us
times,
do.
like he
You
was,
made us put it in the
he
paper.
he would say, I'm gonna be at your next meeting. But he didn't show up. Or I'll be at the next meeting. Well, that's because they had to make
But
some
with
more
us, you made us put it
changes
in
to the
paper,
plan.
preliminary in the
We had the
paper.
preliminary, the conceptual, and definitive in the paper,
But-
per your request, well, we can
And
get
we
that
had to
paperwork
send
up
them
and
to
running.
the butters and everything, and everyone was notified, not just for the definitive, but for the preliminary. You're just not having the same rules for some as for others. It's just arbitrary, it just is.
They have the right to skip a conceptual. They have
I
the
Then
right
don't
to
tell
skip
us,
the preliminary.
don't tell us that
They can
we're
go right to
uninformed when you
definitive.
made
You don't
us
think we know
inform
that?
In
everybody.
fact, some
You
are
don't think we-
doing that more and
Exactly.
more now.
But you're missing the point.
You just told us we were uninformed, but then you made sure we informed everybody, but you didn't make sure they informed everybody. Which is it?
You know, you just, I can't answer your questions. You're gonna
That's
have to.
obvious.
You are going to have to take this up with the engineer.
And the selectmen,
He's the
absolutely.
one that made the decisions on this thing,
Okay,
and we go along with what his
of
decisions
course
are.
you do.
And each one of these subdivisions in this town are all different. None are the same.
Let
Believe
me
me.
ask another question. I'd like to know what Mr. Arcalian's opinion is on it, because I know you weren't involved in our process, but
No,
me and you have gone back and forth on some of our things and whatnot. I'm just
I
curious.
would've, I never would've come here, and I don't think this was right what you did.
How's that?
I don't.
It's
I
not the time
It's
nor
not
the
the time
place.
or the place. If there's something private, you
When-
should have
when would
taken
the
up
time
with
or
the
the
town,
place
because
be?
what you're trying to do,
I don't
you're
know.
slowing us
I'm
down.
not trying to slow you down.
You are,
I'm
our original
trying to
date is
slow you
July
down.
1st, why did that get postponed?
Because you
You
didn't
didn't
put it
post
in the
it.
paper.
It was in the paper.
No,
Not-
it wasn't.
Not for the first meeting, it was.
We had, we didn't get some.
I
whatever,
think,
you're slowing
I
them
think we
down.
should just ask if someone else has another question on the project itself.
Before we move on, I wanna address a couple of things that, on your site, the difference between your site and his site. Your roadway in off of Wood Street had to be put in right along the rock wall and the banking. That's the reason that you didn't get a waiver, because you didn't have the room to put the 4-foot shoulders in of gravel. The fire
We had
department,
300
wait, let me
feet.
finish. The fire department needed to have enough room to get up there. You built a hammerhead, not a circle. And the drainage off the hammerhead affects, off the hill, affects the hammerhead different than it does on a circle. That was specifically designed to handle, no matter where they put a driveway, the water flow from the driveway goes into the circle, into the drains, and then into the other drains going down to 7-Star. Totally different sites. And the fire
One thing on the
department, we
retaining wall.
rely on the fire department chief to look at the area and give us a recommendation. We also rely upon our consultant, which is Cameron Engineering this time. He looked at both of your plans, and that's what he recommended to us, and that's what we went by. You can take it any way as you want, you know, we'll deal with it then. This plan, as far as I'm concerned, everything is addressed.
The reason we had the retaining walls blocked, you guys didn't want us to take those trees down, you didn't want headlights going into the neighbor's yard. I don't know if you remember that.
Right, every site's different.
Right.
That affects the
It's not about the
neighbors.
space, it wasn't about the space that you just alluded to, I just wanna correct you,
No,
so you're aware.
you wanted a waiver, and we gave you a waiver on the width because of the boundary line of the rock wall, and then the wall you had to build to put your detention pond in.
No, we didn't want the wall, but you said we needed the wall because we needed to keep the trees up, so that we didn't shine headlights into the neighbor's windows.
The detention pond couldn't be any further from that wall. I don't know if you even talked about the same division, same subdivision, or same lot. Our detention pond's over on 14.
I was there every day it was being built, so don't tell me I
I
don't
know
know
you got paid
that.
too.
Yeah.
Any other questions in the audience?
I just wanna know where the, house is gonna be built and. if
In the
you-
circle.
In the circle, so that
Have you
can't
looked at the
change.
plan? Come up and look at it.
So this
I
can't
believe
change
it's on the
after this
second or
gets
third
approved
page.
or anything like that?
Pardon?
This can't change after it's approved, this is where they have to build right here and that's it?
No, he can build any place he wants on his land as
Within
long
our
as it meets the
setbacks, yeah.
requirements of the sloping.
Yeah, I know, but you're saying right now,
The circle is a
Circle's where
100-foot
they're gonna
contiguous circle
No.
that proves he has room.
Exactly, so the circle is a dimensional requirement for each lot.
okay,
But this circle sits within these building setbacks.
right,
So we could never build beyond the dashed lines, whether in
Right.
front of them, behind them,
okay.
wherever.
So what you're
else.
saying is this circle doesn't mean anything, the house can go anywhere on this lot?
Yeah.
Within this dash line, yeah.
As
Exactly.
long as it's
Yeah.
within
Yep,
your
exactly.
setbacks.
This is just to show
Because
that the
that's what
lot
I'm
meets a.
mostly concerned about. My house is right up here, it's, you know, I bought an existing house.
Mhm.
I just, you know, I bought my place because it was a nice private lot. I don't wanna, you know,
Mhm.
have him build right there. I mean, I don't know what my rights are exactly anyways, but, you know, that's my concern. I don't want a house really close to the property line if that can be avoided,
Mhm.
so.
Okay.
And you said it's gonna be.
I don't mind working with my neighbors where I put my house, you know, as long as it, you know, that's no problem with me. I mean, as long as it doesn't put me in the.
Well, yeah, it's
Carl, would you accept 500,000 for the lot? He could buy the lot off you.
Well,
He doesn't wanna see a house.
Well, yeah.
I mean, that's the long and short of it, is we have to stay out of the dash. This shows that the lot is actually buildable.
Right. But
The
I
ec-
mean,
the
as an
economics-
abutter, one of my
I
rights
know.
to prevent, you know, something from happening, maybe I have no rights, I don't know, that's why I'm asking you guys.
Right, yeah.
That you're gonna do the.
You're
That's my
putting,
point.
subdivision
be
in.
avoided.
Obviously, it's not my land, I understand that, but,
It's easier to do with these.
once this is approved, you can build a house anywhere, basically, is what I'm saying, and then I have no,
Did you just build a house?
As long as it meets the criteria
We
of
wanted
the
to share driveway
slope
on 7 acres. they
and
said.
the drainage
right.
The reality of it is,
and the setbacks.
I've got, I don't have this overlaid here, but I have septic test pits down in this area here.
Yeah.
So our septic is gonna be down in this
Is
area.
He's right.
so the septic, the only place that's tested that we're good, we're down here.
Correct.
So is there a maximum distance you build from?
No, there's not a maximum distance, but what there is there's like a realistic economic considerations, you know what I mean? So like, the easiest place for this house to sit, and I'm not speaking for Carl, but the easiest place is for it to sit down here. Once we start putting a driveway in through here,
We're just playing with this, you know.
cost gets significant. So you go from like, you know, a $50,000 lot development cost. Yeah, exactly. So,
They made us do.
I hear what you're saying, and I'm just trying to shed some light on his eventual decision to you. So that's gonna be expensive. If you're gonna try to get up there, that's super expensive.
I missed it, we bought that damn lot.
When I win the lottery, I'll buy it.
There's a
I
house.
promise.
Yeah.
You're a witness.
And buy a ticket on your way home.
Yeah, when I win the lottery, I just bought tickets, I'll buy it back, okay?
So you plan on,
Bobby knows what we're talking about.
yeah.
It's dead, it's dead, it's dead, it's a
That's a
dead.
problem.
Yeah, I get
I'm
that.
close to the property line already. I have no trees. They're already cut down for like one house, so I'm just concerned about privacy. You know, trying to maintain the look of the value of my property.
I have plenty of trees.
If that's what you like, I'll do
Right,
that.
we can give you a buffer, I mean,
Right.
thousands of trees, I don't mind.
I'm behind,
Yeah.
I'm behind Joe.
Tree
I mean,
fence.
yeah.
That's what I mean, like the.
That doesn't bother me.
That's great, you can work.
Yeah, Bob, because
So is that something that has to
Well,
be,
my daughter had to
written
go
up
through
and,
these guys, you should
you
see
know,
what they.
or is that just something you offer?
Which one?
Well, I mean, see, this is
Oh,
the
which
thing,
one?
had you been here,
Well, I
these
just
things
thought,
are going, well,
I just
you
moved
know,
in a year ago,
I'm gonna
so-
say, this thing has been advertised, right out there on that board. When you walk out that door, I want you to
I
take
just
it
moved
right
in
in and turn
April
it.
last year, so it's not that
You
I haven't
need
been here.
to understand, okay, that TV camera's been on us many a
Yeah,
night.
yeah.
She's
This
all
thing-
kind of sucker to buy it.
You had that right to ask that
That's
in the
why you
beginning.
invited me to your.
But I wasn't here in the
Yeah,
beginning.
weren't here.
Bullshit.
Right.
So maybe what we can do is,
I wasn't going.
Before
He's
I wasn't
offering
a
you
local resident
something,
at the
my
beginning, so I
suggestion
don't-
at this point, work with him.
before we submit
Alright.
this for septic, I mean,
Yeah.
Carl's a real good guy to work with, I mean, if, why don't we just agree that we'll run it by you kind of thing, just so everybody's on the same page,
Right.
there's no surprises.
Yeah.
But, I mean, it's gonna be a buildable lot and, you know, I think that's probably the best thing we're gonna do, is say, we'll be open and talk to you about it. That's the law, that's the entire law.
Right.
Yeah, unless I put in a subdivision with no waivers.
The path comes out now.
You all live there.
Yeah, exactly, I hope so, I don't know, you know, I got an Irish live on, let's hope
No, I
so.
really don't know that.
Live around.
I know,
Yeah.
I have like a little shed right over here. so
Yeah.
Are you
it's-
serious?
Yeah, so,
That's off there.
What?
right, so this is 100 foot.
But I'm Irish, I
syrup,
probably
yeah,
do.
so
Yeah.
Probably 100 feet anyway, yeah. And you claim to be probably at least.
Oh, you may be up here with the house.
That's at least 150.
Right.
Well, that's what Kristen was gonna do. It was gonna be.
How far back are you going with that house on that lot?
Kristen's lot right behind you.
You putting it in there?
And the cul-de-sac and Jen was the.
Okay.
Because I know the hill's flat right, that's the thing that, you know, concerns me, that's like the only flat
Yeah,
spot up
yeah,
there.
because they had to go through
And that
wetlands.
slopes down, I haven't really been
Yeah.
down to that part of the side, you know, where the house is gonna go.
Yeah. We're still, yeah, on this side
That was
here.
part of the front as well, my
Yeah.
in-laws live there.
Yeah,
so-
that
well,
was
that's
my other
my
daughter's
granddaughter.
lot.
What they did to us, we had the
That's the only question I have, I guess, you know.
vegetation whatsoever, but because we run off a
I
hundred.
can work with it, I mean, you know,
Kind of wetlands, and they needed to-
walk and then this and that, I mean, you know, whatever the reason for it.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
And the only reason
Yeah,
it's
it's-
quote unquote wetlands is because
Well, I'm
we
not-
Clear cut it on the
Stuff.
stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Make a motion to approve the definitive
I'll second.
plan. All right, are there any more questions at this point?
Not for
Any
me.
new information?
Any other
Okay,
questions?
I'm gonna make-
Not for me.
I'm gonna make a motion to approve the definitive plan for Crabchuck Drive.
Seconded.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Note, Jim, that all three members approve.
Okay.
You guys don't have a secretary? You guys don't have a secretary?
Thank you very
Sorry.
much.
It's recorded. They type it up.
Yeah, so
Oh.
that's what I'm getting at, the appeal period,
I'm doing
that has
that.
to expire.
We're a low budget operation, I hate to say it.
It's gotten worse
We
since
don't
I've
have
been here.
secretaries.
I had your job for 25 years on the Board of Health.
Oh,
Ah,
You should be ashamed of yourselves.
Thank
really
you.
should.
let's hope we don't come down with the chickamauga disease.
Yeah, right.
It's the new mosquito bite. Yeah.
Chicken good job.
Yeah.
You get the
It
good
is,
job.
he's right, it's Chamberlain.
Yeah.
Well, who's next?
Well, thank you.
Thank you. You on the agenda
So
back
what's he
there?
got? Wait a minute, what is he?
Okay. All set? And yes, what plans do you have?
Green with Skitchy Lake.
Oh, yes, yes.
How you doing?
This is the property off of Salem Street, Skipshan Way.
What I wanna try to do tonight is just kinda, this is a little bit of an overview. I wanted to- Yeah, these are not, they're not all good, but you can kinda get a gist. I'm sorry I'm not as organized as. down.
Originally, when this came
Four
in,
lots,
there was
right.
4 lots, and now it's down to 2,
Three.
3.
Three lots.
Okay, so you eliminated the last one, yeah.
Yeah.
Shortened up the road.
A lot, yeah, originally it was back, it was over here, Bob. The
Yes.
cul-de-sac was here and it was way back.
Right, and we had an abutter at that time was worried about
Yeah.
I talked to
the
the.
mosquitoes in the detention pond.
I had a couple questions that I wanted to run by the board. I also talked to Camet, Fred Ford from Camet,
Yeah.
and I wanted to bounce this off the board. See this drainage over here? That was from this was from the original design, okay, with the
Oh,
Ford
yes.
subdivision.
Mhm.
I suggested up to Fred that we bring this drainage, because now the road's so shrunken up that I don't need a lot of the cul-de-sacs here, okay? And we're doing a new drainage study, hydros, hydrocalcs and stuff, and I asked about putting it in the cul-de-sac area, which now I don't have to clear cut all this. And it would give a lot of privacy to neighbors and to this. My neighbor liked the idea, and it deals with the drainage. Now we're not running pipes all the way down there and having a detention pond here, Cultec system here, a big huge easement through the
Yeah,
properties.
this is what he's looking at.
Yep.
You might still have to do an outlet.
There
Right.
will be an outlet,
Yeah.
there will be an outlet.
100-year storm
Right, and it'll
flow.
probably be in
But
this
it won't be
area,
as
but
bad.
you see how huge that
Oh, I
area is?
understand.
It's
Yeah.
deceiving how big that area is, of, how much had to be cleared before. And, I just thought it was a good idea, on it. It would help keep my buffer around my, around the whole perimeter of the property.
Downhill,
Right.
because that's downhill.
It is, yes. All right, what do you got planned for the retaining wall? You said you're gonna use the,
I was gonna
hay
do like a,
blocks.
yeah, like a shade block system
Yeah.
on that, engineered wall.
Yeah.
Which I like, they're a good system. It might be Ready Rock, shade Ready Rock,
Yeah.
on it, but it'll be a nice looking wall, that's the other thing. Instead of the people looking at a concrete wall, it'll be a decorative one.
Also in the emails, I noticed you were going back and forth with Fred and they required some more information. Did you get that to him?
Yeah, we went, well, yeah, we got that information, but he wanted, up to date or brand new hydrocalcs.
Yes.
So I said, well, if we're gonna go through that, process, I talked to my engineer
And you wanted to
and
go
Fred,
through.
okay? I said, let's shrink the system up, okay, because we shrunk the road up so much.
Yeah.
Since I have to go through all that expense and process, let's put it where it really should be designed. And, he agreed with me, and so did Fred agree. I bounced it off Fred too. I said, what do you think? He says, talk to the board if they have an issue for it being in the cul-de-sac area.
No.
And it makes sense, easy to maintain, it's right up there, it's less piping, and it's less clearing. It's still just what you said, it's still gonna need an outlet area here, on overflow,
Yeah.
okay? A lot easier here than ripping out all this.
Yeah, it kinda makes sense. I'm for not clear cutting, that's for sure.
Yeah, give the neighbors privacy. I
Yeah.
did go to all my neighbors, by the way, I walked door to door. Tony was awesome, I asked him to come to the next meeting when this is, advertised, he's gonna come support the meeting, support it, okay? This gentleman was very nice, I think he's a retired state trooper, that's right here. He says, just don't take the hill down and stuff, which I'm not doing anything like that. I'm also gonna give a no clear, zone.
Buffer zone.
Buffer
Yeah.
zone, they love that idea.
This
Okay.
first house on Salem Street, did you work with does the bank still own that one?
Yeah, I don't know, I went over there, no one was in
Because
there and
We
stuff.
wanted the driveway
Doesn't-
to enter,
I'm gonna give an access to it for
They-
them.
make an
That's-
access.
Access.
People that were there, they
Right.
wanted that access.
Yeah,
so-
well, I'm gonna make an access
Yeah.
for that,
If-
okay?
If you notice, if you get out here, you gotta go this way.
Right. Well, they'll
You
love
can't
it.
go
That
across.
that's gonna help the property value of whoever owns it,
Yeah,
you know what I'm
yeah,
saying? That's
yeah.
that's an added plus, that's a bonus that they get in a freebie.
Yeah,
Uh,
that line of sight is so terrible there, and funny.
Again, the lots are a little bigger now because it's only 3 lots. I think it's more appropriate than a 4-lot subdivision here.
Yeah.
So the island and the cul-de-sac, what do you plan on having,
I want
any
to plant, oh,
vegetation?
yeah, absolutely, because I want it looking nice, I want plantings and stuff, so I'm still gonna plant this. I figured out where groundwater is and everything, and I'll have plenty of cover over that. I was gonna do, HD rated, cul-de-sac types, so it can, if someone ever drives on it, it's rated that it doesn't collapse.
It won't collapse, yeah?
Right, so, I was probably gonna do, HD 330s, which are, they're a big cul-de-sac, but they're extremely heavy duty,
Mhm.
and they store a lot of water.
Yeah, Federal Way used that, and also down, right before you get to Georgetown, on the right-hand side, that complex that's in there, they've got an underground system there too,
Oh, yeah.
under the
yeah,
pocket.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Who's GA Consultants?
That's John Hartgrave.
Oh,
I guess he started before with this we ended up going with, this is the first time, I take that back. I've used, that was a long time ago, my old partner used him a long time ago in Newburyport, a long
Yeah,
time
there's
ago.
been so many people that were on this thing.
I know.
Big,
Another question I had, can I change the name
Sure.
of the thing?
You don't have to.
The neighbors even like that, changing it.
Yeah.
I guess, I'm starting to find out the history of
Yes.
things. Someone was gonna
Yeah,
take the
you-
gravel out or something like
Yeah.
that, or something like that.
You can do that,
Yeah, thank you.
so, you just put it on the new plans, that's all, you know, you call it what you want, you know. When I was talking about those people that were
That was
complaining,
a little harsh.
they're going up that hill, this is the same thing, you're putting in a lot more here than they did.
Yeah,
Believe it or
I
not.
was about to
But
show
when
my
you
plans,
look at the
I'm
abutter,
not getting anywhere.
What you were doing, you were
Yeah.
falling down into it at that point. So, and I hate to tell you, when they put that, if you go on Wood Street and you look to that,
Yeah.
you go straight up, they didn't tack it, no tack on that road underneath.
Oof, there's gonna be problems later
It's
on.
gonna fall out.
Right, it's all gonna come apart.
Yeah, and there's two houses up there.
Yep.
That's a private road.
One thing, we don't recommend planting the trees in the grass medium,
Okay,
because it's such a narrow area, it usually pops the
Yeah,
sides
so
off.
put them on the property?
Yes,
Yeah,
two,
good.
two.
I prefer
yeah,
that, actually,
yeah.
yeah. Gives a little more room and everything like that, too.
That's a good one. So this will be a public way.
This will be a public way. I did a few things I wanted to ask the board about.
You gotta
They had
ask-
like granite for the entrances of driveway. This was from the old plan. I don't know if that's standard in your process. Can I ask for a waiver on granite or something? The granite cobblestone, I'm sorry,
Oh,
cobblestone,
cobblestone?
yeah.
No, that must have been something they put
That's
on.
something.
That's what they were thinking.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so I don't have
they
to,
were-
all right, I don't have to do that, cause that's,
No.
right now,
You know
the
what's
cost
just
of a
as
road
good
now.
Is on the sides of the road, I mean, if you got that, was it a 45-degree slope on the
Yeah.
granite?
Yeah,
That's just as good as a granite block,
okay.
you
All
know?
right, so sloped granite is okay?
Yeah, it's
All right.
where you go, it's usually that when you are in a cul-de-sac, that's when you get into that block.
Yeah,
No, he was
So-
talking
No.
cobblestone.
I-
and
there was
the-
a
Oh, yeah,
cobblestone.
yeah, this-
Around that.
yeah, they had a cobblestone around this, which I
What
don't
that
wanna do,
was,
and
that
they-
was gonna take up, water as well, that's what they were looking at.
And this new plan is gonna reflect the profile of the roadway for the thicknesses and everything, right?
Correct.
Okay.
Also,
And also, no catch basins within, what is it, 15 feet of a driveway.
okay,
Because if we ever have to replace that catch basin, we don't wanna dig up the driveways.
Okay. Do I have to do the cobblestone in the center area, or can I do
You
vegetation?
can ask
instead?
for a waiver.
All right, waiver on the cobblestone. Can I do I was thinking of doing lower plantings, than that, if that's okay, just for sightline and stuff like that, azalea type,
In the
in the
cul-de-sac.
cul-de-sac.
Right,
if
you
that's
can
okay.
take a ride up to Canoa Estates off of Salem Street and
Okay.
look at their cul-de-sac, or Mike Maroney's treehouse subdivision on Bay Hill Road.
Okay.
He's got a good cul-de-sac, with some lower growing stuff in there, it looks
Okay.
good.
No, write down ask what you wanna ask for waivers now.
Okay.
I mean, we can go through it.
Lighting, do you require lighting on the
Yes.
road?
Well, what we did on Maroney's job up there was post on the individual lots.
Okay, so put a post on each individual lot?
But this
Can it
one,
be a-
what you have to do is go to the light department now, that's what I.
Yeah. Where it's a,
Whereas this is so short, you
short.
might only need one lot. Where it's public road,
Can I do it as, can I, you know,
Light.
can I do it more of a decorative light, is that okay? Or
It
does
is
it-
decorative.
Oh, all right.
they supply it.
Oh,
Well,
all right.
they charge you. You'll have to go get a
Right,
price from.
but it's a nice, light. It's not very commercial looking, right?
No,
All right, it's
no, it's
decorative.
like the ones downtown.
Okay, okay, good,
But what you have to do is take the plan to them,
all right,
to the, and this is a short road, and he'll do it.
Yeah.
And he's gonna give you a budget figure on this for the underground.
for the underground electric.
Yeah.
Is it a municipal in this town?
Yes,
Oh, all right.
Yes.
it's our own.
Yeah.
And he'll give you a budget figure, what he'll charge, you put the conduit in, and they come in and
And
run
they
the,
sleeve it.
they'll run the,
Do I put the pads in for them, or do they have their, do they put the
it's a pad, it's the
concrete pad?
fiberglass
Oh, you
pads.
use the fiberglass, or?
Yeah, they supply, that's what you'll pay for.
Okay.
You put it in, and then they bring the transformer, put it on top.
Instead of-
His name's Mike Collier.
Cludia.
And I just go to the light department?
Yes,
And then
on
I'll-
School Street, bottom of school.
Good.
Take,
Now, did Fred Ford say he likes the
He looked-
concept?
Yeah, he liked
All
that,
right,
he
good.
he thought it made sense, on it.
I think you might only need one light here.
Yeah, it's not very long, the road, it really saved a lot of pavement, a
Maybe
lot of
he might
clearing
want
and
one
stuff.
at the beginning and one at the end, that's it.
Okay.
Maybe there is a street light out there already.
Hey, do you guys require sidewalks, for something this
They're
short?
on the plan, but I'm on the subdivision.
Especially where
Regulation.
School Street, Salem Street has a sidewalk on either side of the street, so.
That doesn't have a sidewalk on this side, on
Yeah,
Salem Street,
Salem Street, the sidewalk's on your side.
is it?
Yeah.
There should be one out there.
It is. You can ask for a waiver for one side.
I'm just trying to remember, is there a sidewalk?
You can just do one side,
Maybe
the
it
only,
is.
the only problem is that you have to meet, you know,
Yeah,
the
there is.
requirement. I think our requirements only still ask for 5 feet, although,
Okay.
I think
Is it-
nationally
can
they've
it-
gone to
Is it a
6.
bituminous or concrete?
By 2 minutes.
You can do it by
That's easy.
bituminous, yeah.
8 inches of processed gravel.
Gravel,
Yeah.
compacted, and then.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you get that.
So you're gonna put in here for a waiver of sidewalk one side. and
One
it
side.
covers that, yeah. I believe that's what
I
they
think
did.
that, yeah, I think that was already on the front.
Yeah, I think it was, that's why. And put in a waiver for the cobblestone, no cobblestone
Cobblestone.
at the cul-de-sac.
We're gonna ask for a waiver, we're gonna do a crushed stone of roadway instead of asphalt. Oh, my teeth.
Yeah.
God, that had to be wrong.
But, submit a, what blocking system you're gonna use for the other side of the road.
Okay. Whether it's a shed
Schematic.
or whether, all right.
That's what we did for Marion Way with the Hayes blocks and
Okay.
over here.
Do you want me to actually take a picture of one of the walls I've done and stuff, so you can see it'll be that
Yeah,
block?
that'd be nice, yeah,
All right.
because you're gonna need to, when you get the plan all ready,
Yeah,
to give a copy to Ann and the town's clerk for everybody to go in and look at.
yeah.
Yeah. All right. Everything sounds good, I'm glad you brought it to us, and,
Yeah, I just wanted your feedback, I didn't mean to waste any, I'd just like to let you know what's going on.
Yep.
And get your feedback.
it looks good.
And you're gonna build the houses?
I'm gonna actually build the houses, I'm gonna build the road too,
Yeah.
so, I'm hoping it'll be a good
So
one.
this guy owns, has the mortgage on it or something?
Yeah, they're ended up hiring me to do, to build the road, build the houses.
John Batchelor?
Yeah, he works for
Yeah.
Wallace Capital, on it.
Robert Wallace, yeah, I know
Robert
who it
Wallace,
is.
right, and, so, they had me,
Good.
yeah, we'll see. Hopefully the market picks up, keeps picking up and stuff.
Yeah.
These roads are so expensive now, dude.
Oh, we know.
That's what I was trying to explain to him, like, when he's like, no, 4 lots. I'm like, you know what, I know this may not make sense to you, but sometimes small is better. You know, like,
We
We used to-
only build bike lanes now.
We used to estimate $250 a foot for a roadway, now it's up to $380 or $400.
yeah, it's up there.
I'm telling you.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
expensive.
It's-
Yeah, you showed that it used to be up to here. wasn't
Right,
it?
you got it, that's exactly, and the house was back here,
Yeah.
like, so it was way back, built on that hill, which wasn't too good either. There was a slope back here a little bit. When is your next,
We're gonna need to
With three,
confer with two other members there out tonight.
and with the 3 lots, you don't have to get into the affordable housing regulation. With
Oh,
3
yes,
lots,
yes. 4 is when you have to do the affordable, $80,000.
oh, right there, that's a huge difference.
Yeah, yeah, it is, yeah.
No, it's not, and the neighbors, like, this guy I talked to here, he's like, thank you, you know, for going, he goes, I got no issue, you know, he had an issue before, I guess. You know, again, the 3 lot, it makes sense with the whole property and stuff, you're not jamming everything.
How come we got told no, that none of them had any issues before?
What's that?
We got told none of them around there had an
Oh,
issue.
no.
No,
That's
they wanted the buffer zone, and then they were concerned about that 4th house for mosquitoes with the detention pond and stuff and the clearing.
Mm.
So the ones on the street, on the backside of the
I'm
property.
talking about, the brother-in-law.
Oh, yeah.
yeah, the 4th house would have kicked in that
Yeah.
affordable
Yes,
housing.
yeah.
Yeah,
thing.
and
It was a smart
the
move.
average thing was $80,000 they would pay to the town and not build it. Otherwise, they had to make one of them affordable.
Yeah, it's not worth making more affordable.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
I think I've got your email when I get the
Schedule.
schedule.
Guys, have a good night.
Okay, thank
Thank
All
you for
right,
your,
you too.
Thank you.
for your time.
Oops, sorry.
Do we have anything else we wanna talk about?
Not that I can think of. We can,
Well, can we do like a preliminary next meeting? I'll be gone the end of August, so, I'd rather do some sort of preliminary, within the first 2 weeks of.
what do you mean preliminary? Oh, you mean have a meeting
Yeah,
before?
schedule, yeah. What was it she had, the problem with the first week always?
Yes, Andrea, yeah.
So we did.
She actually emailed me with 3 dates in August that she could do. And I think it was 6th, 11th and something. I'll have to look at my email I just got this afternoon.
Okay, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. The 11th, I think, I can do that.
All right.
I think that.
Let me double check and
Okay.
I'll.
I'm just gonna
call
put
you.
down preliminary.
Yeah,
Next
I
meeting.
can come to that. I'm all right with August.
Yeah, I'm not sure about Walter. He usually takes a whole month off.
Well, that's one problem sometimes I see. I'd rather I don't mind one meeting in July and one meeting in August, but I think the rest of the year we should have at least 2. Even if we don't have a whole lot on the year.
We
should
always
have-
did
Yeah.
have 2. We always did have 2.
Yeah,
Every other week, remember, Bob?
Yep.
When we-
yeah. There's a need for that, so. All right, I'll make a motion to close the meeting.
Second.
Okay. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye.